Hello, everyone.
Hello, this is Visionless Dave.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Gathering of the Goats. I am your host, Visionless Dave. We are here on a beautiful Thursday evening with plenty to discuss. I'll be joined by my co-host, Menners. Menners, why don't you come on in here? A lot
Hello.
to cover.
Manners is
Welcome,
not the
Menners.
dog. Manners is not the dog, by the way.
Menners is not the dog. I want to start off before we do anything, before we get into the topics. There's lots of drama, lots of show stuff to talk about. I want to just start by thanking you, Menners, for always allowing me the opportunity to create content. I feel like you've been a serviceable boss. You know, you don't poke your head in where it doesn't need to be. I send you a show, it goes up. It's as easy as that. In fact, you're encouraging me to do content. 5-star Yelp review for you and your hard work. And I hate seeing your good name get dragged through the mud.
Thank you, VD. And that's one of the things that has upset me the most is the way Kirk has turned into Sam Kennedy and David Field and Tom Warner and John Henry, besmirching my name, twisting the truth. So, yeah, thank you. It means a lot.
Of course. And, as always, behind every great man, there's a great woman. So I'd like to start things off because there's no better way to do it than to bring in Joe here. Let her air her grievances, and then we can really get into here. Menners,
Hey, Joe.
take the lead here as well.
Hello. Good to
Welcome,
see you
Joe.
all. Thank you.
So obviously, a lot of drama with the network. We'll get into it more in depth later. But the short of it is, you guys have been working very hard to provide this, content platform for true fans of the Kirk Minihane show. A lot of unpaid hours. I'm sure we enjoyed doing it, but at the end of the day, it is hard work. You did a good thing for a lot of people, and then it seems like a lot of those people recently have just up and left without saying a word. So I want to give you guys a chance to just talk to me about what this last week has been like, seeing the rug get pulled out from under you.
Well, Kirk basically stole the network. That's what has actually happened. Like, he's stolen our hard work. He put me and Joe in charge of running it last June or July, and once it's built up to a point where it's successful enough, he's just come in and grabbed it all for his own greediness. As I said, Kirky Kennedy, Kirky Field, he's turned into the bosses at EI, Odyssey, the Red Sox. He's become one of those now. Joe, what do you think?
I think we've had the network for a good solid 8 months. It's been a pleasure to reach out and help build these shows up and help support and provide all of the background stuff that it takes really to go into these shows, getting the shows up on time. Menners converts all of them to audio so you can listen to them on podcast, which I know a lot of people like quite a lot, that they are missing now. And I was thinking about it today, the fact that we've had 8 months. And as a mom, I was thinking about just that specific time frame, that it takes like 9 months to grow a baby. We haven't even quite had that. And there's been an emergency C-section, and now baby is gone, and we're just here left to sort of recover on our own. But, we will carry on. We will recover, and we're going to build back and have some new great shows. So it really does open up the opportunity for us to grow in some other directions. So that was part of it. And then there's been a lot of references about us being like the AAA team. I there are certain contracts that are written up for those sorts of things and expectations that, you know, you hope people will go on and make the big leagues. And that's obviously a testament to you. So in that way, yeah, everybody getting called up, great for them. I wish them a lot of success. The way that it was done, not the greatest. That was not the best. It did feel like a stab in the back from some people, just the way that it was done. So we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward, but I haven't given up, and I don't believe either of you have either. So
Nope.
look,
It's inspired me.
coming up.
The whole thing has inspired me. That was beautifully said, Joe. Kirk basically, it wasn't even a C-section. He basically aborted the network. He went in and murdered all the hard work. No consent. We're a bit like the local hardware store, and you know, he's Home Depot. He came in, he just bought us out, he fired everybody, and it's just all because he likes to watch people suffer.
Well, he was just talking today about that
That's
grocery
petty.
store and getting
Mhm.
bought out by Hannaford and all of that, and how sad that was. It's no different.
It's no different. War crime.
Well, a couple of things that really annoy me about it. Firstly, the unfairness of it. So, if Kirk really wanted to have a little battle between networks, he should have started a new network with John in charge, started it from scratch, and pit the two of us together. That would have been a fairer, fun fight. Because if you'd come to me 3 or 4 weeks ago and said, hey, look, Kirk's thinking of pulling or offering all these shows to come on the main channel, I would have said to you, yes. And I think most of them will go because it's a bigger platform, it's greater exposure. We all know John and BA and Mick want jobs at Barstool. So if you want Portnoy or Big Cat or someone to see you, you're much better off being on that platform. So if you come to me 3 weeks ago and said, you know, your shows on your platform are going to have to choose between you and Kirk's platform, I would have said, they should choose Kirk's. And in fact, I've reached out to some people. I mean, I reached out to Confused Duck and said, you put a lot of work into those best ofs and catch ups. You should go to the better, bigger channel where you get more exposure. So, you know, it's the unfairness of the fight. It's like, you know, John Henry or David Field or Sam Kennedy, the way they treat the little guy. If Kirk had really wanted a fair fight, as I said, he should have started a new network with John, called it something else, and then Minifans are forced to choose, not between going on a legit Barstool platform and getting that exposure, because pretty soon we know, you know, Dave Portnoy is going to see Drips in the office and they're going to be in the New York office or in Chicago. So I get that. But, and then the other thing was, I do not like the way the handling of Mike and the Minifans has been. Joe has been the executive producer for the last 8 months. She's been working really hard at that. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of work to get a panel together every week. People cancel at last minute. They say they're going to come on. They don't respond. And that's not, you know, I'm not trying to say woe is me, but, you know, it would have just been decent had Kirk wanted to pinch the whole show. And we don't own the show, although Mike did sign it over to us. But, you know, I can't find the paperwork anywhere. But, you know, someone should have, you know, Kirk, that fucking asshole, that petty fucking prick, Kirky Kennedy, should have reached out and said, hey, I want to bring Mike and the Minifans. You could have offered Joe to come across. You want to be the EP of the show on my channel. But instead he stole it, ripped it away from her, ripped it away from all the, you know, took it from her after she rebuilt this show. And, you know, it's a fucking low-life move. It's a scummy move. You know, it's like when Odyssey put him on fucking gardening leave and made him record his podcast in a little room in a fucking floor on the building that no one could find. So, you know, Kirk has become the people he used to despise.
And you are just going to hammer that Kirky Kennedy joke, aren't you? I think you've hit it 4 times.
Well, you know, well, it's true though. That's the way I feel.
It is true.
You know, I've lost a lot of respect for him. I thought, you know, I thought he was someone that respected hard work. You know, I thought, you know, Peter Minihane had like beaten that into him. But obviously he hadn't, because, you know, he's given it now, just taken it all away for no reason. And, you know, I don't like the characterization of poor leadership on this network. It's complete horse shit. I have never once done anything to stand in the way of content. Okay, guess what? I do shows and I say shit that might upset people, but That's fucking what this network is for. But I've never once said I'm not going to upload something. I've never edited something. So all that shit that Kirk says about, you know, his platform being a free space for artists is complete horseshit.
It's
So is this
horseshit.
network. Yeah.
I agree with Word in the North, Benghazi 2.0. Joe, any last takes you want to get off here?
No,
well, can we talk about the people that have left? I mean, while you're here, Joe.
Okay, let's get into it. Okay.
Well, I've got some few more, but you know, this is where, you know, the real, you know, cunts rose to the surface. So BA, who has been the VP, an integral member of the network, pledged his loyalty to the network, has worked very closely with Joe in getting Mike and the Minifans up every week. Just completely left without any notice, without giving us a heads up. I mean, Joe, to me, that was probably the lowest moment so far.
Definitely. I mean, I always thought that we had a good relationship. We were in communication. Always let him know, like, well, hey, here's the panel, and these are the things. Discussed just anything leading up to it, anything around the show, and we always had a good rapport. And then so without that, you know, had I just been sitting back, just producing the show, not doing anything else, not having more communication with him the way I did, it just, that was the real backstab for me.
Yeah, he could have reached out. He could have reached out and said, look, I'm thinking of leaving. What, you know, maybe we do things to make him say, I don't know, but just a low act.
Or, you know, some point before KMS aired and announced it.
And then Robbie V today. So Kirk was saying, and I don't know if this is true, Portnoy did reach out to him and say you can't put a gambling show on your YouTube channel because of Massachusetts laws. But again, this is exactly why, and it's a really good lesson, Robbie, you fucking dickhead, if you're listening, of why when you leave a place, you leave on good terms, because you never know what is around the corner, and you never know when you might need that person. And he is now not allowed on the main KMS channel, and I will have him back. You know, I'm not going to be petty, but
and that's why this whole network was established to begin with, was so that Kirk would have insulation from the things that the Minifans are doing as far
anti-Semitism.
As you know, anything that might drop during a live show, you just don't know what's going to happen. Plus, just some of the shows themselves are, you know, content that might go against. Now they have this contract with DraftKings and all of that that we didn't have before. So just things like that you might not be able to predict.
But with Robbie though, like, you know, he again could have reached out to us and said, hey, I'm thinking of going to the other network, and I would have said, go with my blessing, thanks for all your hard work. But instead he didn't. He sneakily ran as soon as he got an opportunity, and then he took a few shots on the way out, which were uncalled for, because you know, if his fucking drug addict producer would submit his show at regular times and with instructions, his show would have been released at the same time. But John, you know, forgot Robbie V's show most weeks until the last minute, which Joe knows. I mean, Joe can back me up. John would submit Robbie V shows, you know, 5 minutes before it was due out, or, you know, 3 days after, just depending on how fucking clear-headed he was that day. And so Robbie takes some shots on the way out, and, you know, I will swallow my pride, and if he wants to come back, I'll put his show up, because as in the past, I've always shown I won't stand in the way of content. But, you know, he behaved like an asshole, and, you know, he needs to take a look at himself in his mirror. He's becoming like his friend Danny, who doesn't fucking go to your best mate's wedding.
Yeah, and it's multifaceted, right? Because, you know, he was disrespectful to the network brass on the way out, and Kirk has never done anything but shit on Robbie V's show, call him a retard. This is a whole other issue with a lot of these departures I have. Little People Big World guy, who was going to be my co-host moving forward. We had big plans. He's been blocked by Kirk for like a year. Kirk unblocks him and says, hey, why don't you come to our network? Oof, gone. Bareback Ron, they spoiled his entirety Jeopardy show. What, like this week or last week?
Last week.
Now this week, a little bit of clout, they're gone too. No self-respect.
And can I just
List,
say, no
go
one
ahead.
fought more for them than I did. Joe is a witness.
It's true.
I was like
That is true.
fighting with Kirk in the DMs about this, saying, these guys work their ass off. You spoiled their hard work, and they just again turned their back, no notice, and that really annoys me. I know they put a lot of hard work into their shows. In fact, just a few hours before they left, I'd sent a message to Joe saying maybe we should encourage the KMS Jeopardy to jump ship and go to the other network. And they did it without us having to talk to them. But, just a low move on their part. And, someone that, fostered Beanbags Ron's talent, it's a real kick in the teeth.
And what about List Boy? He took some shots at you on the main show.
Yeah, but he did reach out ahead of time and said that he was considering.
Yeah, but like
At least
you don't trash the place on the way out. He's saying,
No.
oh, he wouldn't go on Mike and the Minifans because Menners was there,
Right,
which
which is
I think
not-
is
He's just a fucking pussy. He's just a big fat pussy. He was complaining, oh, Menners criticizing me. Yeah, I criticize you because you're a fucking loser. You're fucking terrible on air. You've got no fucking takes of your own.
I mean, Kirk criticized him too. Kirk has criticized all of us.
Yep.
Yeah,
all of the shows.
Sensitive fat piece of shit. And I reached out to him and I said, hi, mate, I'm happy for you to go to KMSN, but of course, I'd love you to stay. If you decide to leave, it is with my blessing, but please tell me first, right? That was before he went on the show. That was last week because I knew he'd want to go because, he should go. And he goes, thank you for the message. I will let you know. And then he goes on the main show and says all this bullshit about me sucking up to him and sending messages. You read that message. That was very vanilla. It was very professional. And yeah, he's just not made for the content game. He's just a soft baby shit piece of shit.
What about, because I think this whole thing was started by Joel the Troll and the Rundown crew. I think that's who started. Weeks ago, they started this whole complaint because nobody was complaining about you as a boss until they started. They were basically looking to get kicked off the network so they could upload on their own thing without being judged. Do you think I'm accurate that they kind of started this whole coup a little bit unjustly?
Joe?
Possibly. I mean, I know that I was getting messages from them. Oh, we love the network. We would never do anything to harm the network. But obviously, it does feel like that was part of a long con situation. I don't really know what the benefit is for them necessarily, but really, and anyone that doesn't want to, that is saying that they don't want to deal with Menners because his leadership style is different from my leadership style, whatever. That's why we work well together, I think, because it balances out. They have the option of setting their shows to me and I'll put them up. It's not a big deal. Everybody knows that. The Rundown was offered the same thing. And they turned their
very, very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. So they're the type of guys.
Yeah.
They're the type of guys they can do the bits, but when someone has a bit of fun at their expense, they can't handle it because they started this by getting Cullinane to upload their first episode and try and undermine my leadership.
Yep.
And then even after that, when I uploaded their show, I never tampered with it. I never fucked with it. I never did anything to stand in the way of the Rundown going to air. Oh, you know what I did once? I downloaded the video and I made a clip of a few little bloopers from their show and I put that out. And guess what? That's normally how you promote a show. Blooper reels are a very common form of promotion. So they get all sensitive about that. They're just terrible, terrible people. Red's had an axe to grind since, he ran away because he's I'm not going to get into anyway. So, yes. I think the Rundown were here to undermine the network. Clearly, Joel's got the ear of Kirk.
And I think that they definitely bought the views on that video to try to sabotage the network. To try to get it canceled. We lost Menners. I'm going to keep going. I think it was their plan all along to do whatever they could to sabotage the network, to bring it down. So I guess hats off to them. They were successful.
But I blame Kirk. It's nothing to do with the Rundown guys. Kirk did this. He consistently, from the beginning, undermined my leadership of the network. And in fact, If you go right back to the beginning when the 420 guys put that Asian slur and I came down hard, Kirk undermined me from there, and he kept undermining me. And I never had a fair chance at it. And, terrible leadership on his part, the worst chairman of the board, as bad as David Field. And this is a slight on him. He has let his fans down. He's let the network down. And the Minifans ultimately suffer because this will all fucking blow up in Kirk's face. The YouTube channel will get taken down. They'll get too many strikes and they'll be gone from YouTube, and the Minifans will lose. And he undermined my leadership from the beginning. He allowed people, like the Rundown guys to think they were more important than they were, and to think that their opinions were true when they weren't, because everybody knows I supported every show. I supported all the creators. And Kirk, this is all Kirk's fault. I don't blame anyone else but him. This is squarely on his lap.
Well, this is the thing you have to remember about Kirk. A couple things. First of all, right, he's a godless heathen. Second of all, he enjoys squashing things. Like when he was a kid, he would have been the kid in the backyard with the magnifying glass,
Yes.
torturing insects and just sitting there cackling, right?
Not just insects. You can imagine what he did to Adam and Ryan. Like,
and normally when Kirk has enemies, right, he gets to direct that inner rage that's there, that evil demonic force towards an enemy. But right now, and for a good while now, he hasn't had any enemies. He's tried to get the Gia thing going a little bit. It won't take. Everything's kind of kumbaya. There's no real big enemies for him. So when that happens, he starts engaging in friendly fire. And Menners, you're one of his favorite targets. It's like a bit in dog training, right? If you have a really aggressive dog, like you take that aggression, they have to get it out some way. So you let them get it out, playing with a toy versus, murdering another dog. So he has that in him. It's like greed fulfillment. He needs to hurt something. And, unfortunately he picked the network, and Joe and Menners are the victims.
Yep. Well, we'll still be here.
Yep.
Are still going to be here. So, it's, sorry, I'm not sure how to say what I'm
It's okay. We're all emotional.
Yeah. It's just, ultimately, I mean, the network is also his channel, but it was separate.
Well, not really. He never gave a shit about it until
but it was exactly. But it was separate for a reason, and we've built content, and I'm just not sure that all of these other shows on his YouTube channel is really going to work long term. But I'm happy for the guys that they're getting the promotion from the show now that they could have had before.
How long until this new network pulls up stumps, Menners?
I like the cricket analogy. Well done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when it will end, because I think we all know Kirk. He could go to Portland and the show sucks again, the sound sucks, and he just tells the producers to stop wasting their time on Minifan content and actually concentrate on the show. I'm not sure. It's also been pointed out to me that ticket sales have been sluggish for Portland, and this would be a great way to generate sales, because if you're all the clout chasers that are all of a sudden on his network would be like, oh, let's go to the show and receive some love from the fans, and get a bit of attention, get a bit of clout. So maybe that's another thing to make up for the very, very disappointing sales of the latest live shows. But I think part of it is a validation of the hard work Joe and I have done. That last July there was basically zero Minifan content. Zero. There was Minifandom. There was Beyond Average Podcast, which at that stage was once every 2 months. There was Montante's World. What else? I don't think there was any other Minifan shows this time, about this time last year. And now we're talking about a whole network on his channel. There might be 10, 15 shows, which is a direct result of the hard work we've put in. And I think, probably one of the things that I need to look at is, I care too much about the network. I took it seriously. I took it, that's why it feels like a real job has been taken away. And as Kirk pointed out to me, you realize this is, you're not getting paid for this job, but still I treated it like a professional endeavor. And, it's very sad because I took it very seriously. It was very passionate, and to the end of the cricket season here, my daughter's moved overseas. A lot of my time is freeing up, and I was hoping to, put more effort into the network and help it further develop. But, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be Pawtucket. It's not a competition. We're going to do our own thing. But in the end, Kirk's effectively destroyed, the positive stuff about this channel. I mean, he's just sucked the life out of it because, he was going through a bad day because Kirky was a bit tired, because he had to lash out at someone. I mean, call your brother Adam. If you want to lash out at someone, sort out your own fucking backyard.
It's the great, it will be remembered as the great clout rush of 2024. It's like, it's time to get the hell out of clout. It's just time to get out of the clout business, I think. We're going to meme clout down, but it's a little bit of a Kirky DeCaro move. Like he's saying, oh, everybody come over. It's very Deadspin. Everybody come over here. We're going to treat everyone fair. Nobody's going to be mean. Everyone's special. It's really, it's Kirky DeCaro.
Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Any last network takes? We gotta move on because we can talk network for 2 hours.
Joe's gonna duck out. Joe, thanks for stopping by. Anything you want to say before you go, or?
No, just if you've got ideas for new shows, if there's anything that you're interested in doing, just want to talk through, anything like that, just reach out. We're here, and we're looking to build back. So we're here, ready to go.
We're going to make the network great again.
100%.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Joe. I just love her.
Well, sweetest person. She makes us all better. She
does. She just brings out the best in us. Okay. Let's get in just because, this is a main show, base show. It's not all about us here. Are we
moving off the network? Are we moving off the network?
We'll go back. We'll dip back.
I've got one existential question I want to ask you. One thing that has made me look in the mirror is, and I'm curious about an outsider's perspective. Can you be like an A+ talent like me on the network and be the CEO at the same time? Like sometimes those things don't gel. Being, a top talent doing some of the most viewed shows on the network, but then also being its CEO. Like sometimes they don't mix well, and people like Steve from Gloucester are too stupid and get confused. Do you think there's an element of that?
I mean, you're basically Dave Portnoy. You're in that same position he finds himself in, where he makes some of the best content at Barstool, but he also has to be a leader. And there's people like Clemmer or Steve from Gloucester that can't wrap their heads around it, but then there's plenty of other people who thrive in that system. So I don't think you need to change your leadership style. I think that would be a big mistake to change because Steve from Gloucester, the fake Italian, is confused.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. What were you going to bring up?
Today's show, it's kind of been a new thing where Kirk has been matching, quote unquote, a random Minihane, according to Justin and Mike Montante, with kind of the big celebrity style guests. So Montante gets to go in studio with Ryan Whitney, two right-wing lunatics. They seem to hit it off a little bit. What did you think of the dynamic in studio in regards to the guests today? And then we'll get into some specific show things.
I thought it was a good show. I mean, I love Mikey Moonface. He was funny. It would have been nice if the producers had equalized his microphone so he was as loud as the other two guests. I mean, it sounded like he was about 6 feet from his microphone the whole show. But hey, who am I to criticize? But yeah, I really liked it. We got a lot of, golf talk, as I knew we would. I was supposed to call into that show, but I didn't want to interrupt Ryan Whitney talking about his own golf game, so I thought I'd leave it. But yeah, good dynamic. I like it. And I think for someone like, like a make-a-wish thing for, someone like Mikey Montante to do a show with Ryan Whitney and Kirk Minihane, who, an hour later did a show with Dave Portnoy. It would have been a thrill for the battler.
Agreed. I want to get into one specific topic from today's show that really stuck out to me, and it seemed to strike a nerve with Kirk. And it was Montante's assertion. I mean, Kirk kind of bent his words, and Montante's a bit marble mouth, so he didn't get it out right. But I'll ask you this question. Do you think the Coleman home run stream happens if Chris Klemmer is not doing a long stream at the same time?
Absolutely not. Montante is 100% right on this. This is
100%
petty
right.
Kirk. This is the same bit of Kirk's brain that made him destroy the network. That childish, petty little Kirk Minihane sometimes comes out, and it came out when he took the network away, and it came out when he did that stream. Mikey Moonface is 100% right. I don't think Kirk went in there going, "I'm going to do a
Nobody
stream."
thinks that. Nobody thinks that. That's a
Subconsciously,
straw man argument. Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, he was thinking, how can I fuck with Klemmer's stream? How can I gain some attention on my stuff? And that's the way he did it. Petty Kirk.
It's like it makes me think of, murder. So premeditated murder doesn't mean you planned it days before. Premeditation can be moments. It can be you looking over and picking up a gun and shooting somebody. So nobody thinks he went in there being like, oh, I'm going to do a long stream. I'm going to fuck with Klemmer. But in the moment, I'm talking probably mere moments. It fires off. He runs it through his head. Oh, we're going to stay here. Because there's just a 0% chance if Klemmer wasn't streaming that Coleman stream happens. I'm glad it did. And I kind of believe Kirk in his own head doesn't realize that's what happened. But I mean, anybody from the outside looking in knows. I thought Whitney would have Montante's back a little bit more on that, but Montante just presented it so poorly that they didn't get to have a real discussion about it.
No, that was childish Kirk, don't you worry.
Very childish, very childish. Another
Baby
theme
Kirk.
from the last two shows is what's going on with Justin? What's going on?
No, nothing. This is actually Justin reverting to the mean. This is consistently been how he's behaved when he's been full-time producer at KMS or had a full-time role at KMS. It's happened twice before. He's quit the show or had opportunities like this, and I feel sorry for him. Clearly, his mental health cannot stand the strain of being in that show. And I've got to say, I've got a little bit of a taste of it because, the way Kirk's treated me in the last week has certainly put me in a pretzel. And, I don't have to see him every day. And I'm a lot more secure than Justin is. So I can only imagine he goes home and he has these harrowing, moments where he's, unsure. His mental health is he's severely depleted by working on that show. So I think I'm not surprised. What do you think's going on?
Two things. I think everything you said is exactly right. The show is catching up with him a little bit. It's kind of like Blind Mike. Like when Blind Mike was working in an official capacity for the show where there was expectations of him, he couldn't do it. He would crumble. He'll tell you this. This isn't me talking shit about him. But when he's more of like a no strings attached member of the show where he can really do his own thing, that's when the best Mike comes out. Justin's falling into that mode a little bit now where it's like when he wasn't producer, he's doing these wacky videos. Everything's good because you can go in and out. And now, like you're saying, he's been in the booth. How long has it been now? A couple months more?
Yeah.
Couple months.
A few months.
Because
Augusta sort of quit in January. They had the break, the best of. So we're not even 2 months, and he's already cracking. I mean, I'd love Montante to give odds on.
He's 100 days off soda. Didn't he say that recently? So I feel like it's
but that was before he took over.
That was before. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I do like Justin, but I didn't like seeing that whole thing where he was just freaking out, threatening to dox Bareback Ron when they made a joke about a common show joke about the whole pedophile thing, and that was kind of the first red flag where it's like, ooh, what's going on here? And then he was just a little, moody in studio. I felt like he wasn't, he just didn't feel comfortable. So I don't know. Do you think he can get back on the mend, or do you think this is the beginning of the end?
Well, I would like to think he can get back on the mend because I do like Justin. But if I'm betting, absolutely not. I mean, why would it be any different to how it has been in the past? I mean, I'm still not discounting a week before Portland, Coleman and Kirk are sitting in the studio and they get a message from Justin saying thanks, but heading back to grill on the hill or something. So yeah, I'm hoping Justin comes good because he loves the show. He does try his best, although sometimes it's very, very, very misguided. But yes, no, I don't think it will. I think by either the week before or the week after Portland, he'll be gone, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coleman's not far behind him.
You can sense that little rivalry between them two starting to grow as well, which I look forward to. There will be a big blow up between Coleman and Justin soon. Who do you think is going to win Fat Camp?
So who's competing? Is it just Coleman and Justin?
Coleman and Justin.
Coleman will win, I think. Yeah, because gay people take a lot of pride in their appearance, so I think definitely Coleman will win.
That's very funny. Last thing I kind of wanted to touch in before we can go into the after show a bit is, do you think Getro Man should have been? Do you think Mick stepped out of bounds getting Getro Man on his show? Do you think that should have been a main show thing? I know Kirk in the past has gotten upset about things like that. I think it's kind of torture to make people sit through Beyond Average if they want to get that content. I think it would have been better served on the main show first. Then, if they want to do an interview after with him, they can. But to me, I feel like if Kirk wasn't fully bought into like making the network this big thing right now, he would have freaked out at Mick. Thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. If Mike Violet had come on a show on this network on the same night, Kirk would have reamed me out, and he would have criticized my leadership. He would have, said all sorts of bullshit like he's been saying. He would have besmirched my good name again with lies, as he's done the last week. But I think it was overstepping the bounds. I'm sure Coleman or Justin must have helped putting that together. And that's a big red flag if Coleman or Justin are thinking, oh, we'll give this to, Mick instead of Kirk. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, it's not so long ago, Kirk was very upset at Mayo outing another caller. How is this any different? I mean, Getro Man was still a prank, a bit. It was still a caller that we probably, this has ruined it now. Getro Man's dead and buried forever. So I don't think it was the right spot for it. Poor instincts by Mick, poor instincts by Kirk, and it would have been much better on the main show. I would have liked just to, that Getro Man call that they played on the main show the day after. That should have been what was on the main show first.
Yeah,
it should have been.
Felt
hey,
kind
we've
of
got
dead by then.
Yeah, they'd already, Mike Violet had already been talking to Mick. I mean,
and Christian.
absolutely.
Bad instincts. I want to get into this Clemmer situation. I'm very curious. Did you listen to the Unnamed show yet? I know it's early for you. So
I haven't listened to the Unnamed show.
You'll enjoy it. I would put it on right after this. It's basically the first half hour is Clemmer going at it with Kirk and Whitney and Portnoy. There's a few tense moments with Kirk and Clemmer where they're, you shut the fuck up. No, you shut the fuck up. Overall, I think, like we've discussed earlier, a lot of the people going to the other network, I think they see themselves as, oh, maybe we could be Clemmer. But even in a bigger sense, to me, they kind of are Clemmer. And what I mean by that is they're very, very fair weather right now. People who have criticized Kirk, people who Kirk has criticized, oh, it's all now kind of this fake kumbaya. And that's the exact same thing as Clemmer. Clemmer used to shit on Barstool. He used to shit on KFC and his interviews. Next thing you know, he's doing a KFC interview talking about how there's no leadership. He's basically Steve from Gloucester. There's tweets that have been out there for a long time, him saying shitting on Stooley, shitting on Barstool, saying he doesn't like Barstool. They talked about it a little bit today where Portnoy straight up asked him, Kirk's told me he used to be a Barstool hater. Is that true? And he kind of plays the, like not a hater, but I just, I never gave it a chance. And now that I gave it a chance, I love it. There's DMs of him saying, I'd rather suck a fart out of Julie DiCario's ass than eat a Dave Portnoy pizza, all these terrible things. Just tell me I'm right.
You are right, but no way. I'm just not a Barstool guy. Lots of empty heads talking about shit I don't care about. It's not really for guys over 40. That was a message from Clemmer. But I don't criticize Clemmer because you people need to work. People need jobs, and you can change. Here we go. We've got a special guest.
It might sound. I'm on my phone. I don't know how bad I'll sound. Do I sound okay?
You sound great. You sound great.
Okay.
Congratulations on logging in via your phone. It's an achievement for you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Are you here to apologize to the Axe?
That was. Just watched a couple minutes of that. Like, I would have thought that literally. I would have thought her husband assaulted her sexually. That's not possible. You had to get erection around a woman. That was the most serious. My issue with Menners is like he's just not playful with any of this, with none of it. Like not 0.00. Like everyone else is on the joke, and Menners is so serious about this. I don't get why.
But here's my thing. Let me go first. So
yeah.
The whole point of it, right, is a little bit to be serious. So this is an analogy. You may not like this analogy, either of you, but it reminds me of the same thing where you got upset at Kevin from Bristol for being very into the Minifan Hall of Fame, which on the surface level, of course, is absurd and stupid.
Insane, right?
But it's like, is it any dumber than being really invested in a fantasy football league?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Right.
And I've said all along, by the way, and Menners knows this. I'll give you an example, which I didn't listen to much of it. I didn't get to listen to much of it, but like Menners in the past, like the boner salad thing, for example, the guy was going after Menners personally. Menners, did I have your back during that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Don't hear any of that. Don't hear about any of that. All this stuff. But when things get ugly,
you also unfairly took the network away for no reason.
Menners
came in mine. like Sam Kennedy and.
Menners, I get the same thing. Menners, I get the same thing. It's my network. Good. It's my network.
Well, you put me and Joe in charge. We ran it for 8 months and you took it away for no reason.
It's mine. It was mine at the beginning. So when you say to me,
why didn't you do any work for it?
I should start a network with John from Scranton. Incorrect. You should go on your own because this network, you didn't gain any subscribers over the last 8 months. You should go by yourself.
That's bullshit. We did.
Well, take the amount of subscribers you have. I'll give them to you that you gained. Start your own network by yourself without my name attached.
But I don't want to.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I want to do fan content. I'm not a clout chaser. If I was a clout chaser, I would be on your channel trying to get, waving my arms so someone sees me.
It's okay. Not true. That's okay. I like you. True. I like viewers, Dave. That's fine. What I'm saying is, the way it works now is it's you two, and you guys hate each other. We've seen all these old tweets. Menners burying Visionless Dave. Menners personally telling me the Visionless Dave's a drug addict, that he's had sex with these dogs. All that stuff. So what I'm saying is it's going to break up, and you have Sneakers as the voice of reason of this network right now. And I'll say this right now on the record. I am all for a network with the three of you guys going raising hell. But the thing with Joe being like she was like on the witness stand at the end of a Law and Order episode where she's like, yeah, it's just been tough. I've been through so much.
But you don't get both perspectives. You're only seeing it from your side. You don't see it from me and Joe's side, who worked hard, took it seriously, put our heart and soul into it, and you just go, I'm bored this week, I'll take it away. With no notice, no reason, unfairly.
That's incorrect. Andy, that's incorrect. What happened was each of them individually came to me and said, I don't want to work with this guy anymore. That happened.
Who's each of them?
Beanbag Ron. McFuss.
That only happened
Robbie
because
V.
you tampered. That only happened because you tampered, though.
Ask those guys. I said to them,
I've got messages from them 2 days ago saying how
and I said,
loyal
I
they
completely,
are.
and I said, I completely respect if you guys want to stay there. 1,000%. 1,000%.
The fix was in.
And all of them came over. They fleed over. There's somebody in this chat right now between the three of us, not you, Andy, and not me, who's already begged to come over. And I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't
categorically false.
Wouldn't do that. But he'll be there eventually. You guys will fight about something, and we know this is all going to happen. And by the way, Menners, you'll be over with me, then I'll be back over with you, and people will jump back and forth. And I know there's already been a huge money offer sent to Mike Montante. I know that. Triple figures. So he'll, for $100, Montante wouldn't jump. Are you kidding me? He has no money. So he'll be with you guys by the end of the week. BA will be back with you guys. He can't handle the heat. We know this. There's going to be back and forth.
Yeah, well, I just think the whole thing's a sham. You know, our hard work has been undone.
Okay, Manners, you didn't build a pyramid. You gave Robbie V a show. Like, let's be.
Well, I think we did. I mean, you know, a year ago there was no Minifan content. Now you've got like 10 shows on your
Manners,
channel.
the views were never as high as they were when Steve ran it, and they're not as high as they are now. The truth is, you were a ratings pit. It was dangerous. Dave Fortnite reached out to me personally and said, we need to fix this. So I did the best I could. I don't want to do that, Andy, but I did the best I could, little guy.
Yeah, okay. Fair
enough. Well, and Visionless Dave, who I like, who's a friend of mine, who's a confidant of mine, is playing you.
No.
Is playing you like a fiddle, like the little fiddle that you are.
I'm standing up for what's right.
Add more division into the network, but it's pretty hard. There's no one left for you to divide. They're all on your side now. So
but you know how this works. Like one or two things, and they'll jump back the other way. This is how it works.
But I think the problem was you constantly undermined my leadership, going right back to the beginning when we had the issue with the 420 guys and their Asian slur. If you'd supported me wholeheartedly from the beginning, we would be in a much better position now.
I agree with what they said ultimately. Like, I stand by that. That's the problem. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like,
you're Tony and Wakefield fan.
Exactly.
All things aside, what happens when one of these idiots on the network does something to get a strike or gets the network taken down? You don't care? You'll just start a new one?
No, it's not that I don't care, but like, I know Menners is now going to, like he did with Montante, he's going to try and report me and do stuff like that. I think personally he did it with the Montante thing. I think that's below board.
I didn't report. I didn't report it. I retweeted
you said that
it.
Dave Cullinane is a master of that. But
did I? I might have tagged him in the tweet. Yeah, I did tag him in the tweet. Well, he's the ombudsman for that kind of stuff in Boston now. So.
Well, he's part of my network now, though. So you got to find somebody else to do that. But I don't know. It's a good question. Like, I know we're talking to the conspiracy guys. So like that's like 2 strikes right there. So
that's guaranteed.
I don't know. But now
you're clearly. You've been conned. That's sad. You've been conned by Joel and the other rundown guys.
By who?
You believe all.
Joel
Ziggy.
Who's Joel? I don't know who that is. Who's that?
Ziggy and Red and Sheldon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You've been conned by them. They came in with their bits and trying to make trouble, and you fell for it.
That's a flagship show of the network.
You fell for it. You should look inward now.
Well, I think between
you've turned your back on 2 great leaders you had on your side.
I'm on the show with you guys right now. Menners, I told you I'll come on whenever you want. I'll promote whenever you want. If you have new shows, I'll promote them. If they're good, I'll take them. But like, I'm here for you to help you be. And I think actually what you do best. I said this on the show the other day. Again, with you, you're like me in this regard. You only hear the bad things. You don't hear the good things. True. I said on the show the other day that you have an excellent eye for talent and you're responsible for Chris Klemmer to a big extent, Pat Ford, Visionless Dave, a lot of people. And I'm not kidding when I say that you should find new shows and build them on that network. And if they're really good, bring them to us. If they're not, I don't think, is that, Dave, is that unrealistic an ask for the sort of second tier show network?
Well, it depends what Menner's goals are. If his goals are just to make good content and to support the main show, then I don't see an issue there. But if his goals are a little more self-centered, then he might not like that.
Thank you, Dave. That's an excellent way of framing it. I think we really know the answer down deep, and you said that best. There's a portrait of Menner's right there. Is he self-centered, or does he care about the network? My good friend,
the network.
My good friend David Field always said, "Do you care about the Kirk Minihane show, or do you care about yourself more, Menners?"
I care about the Kirk Minihane show more.
So
and that's why I did the network, and that's why I'm not jumping ship and waving my hands like all the other idiots on your channel.
Well, you do wave your hands a little. You do wave those little hands a little bit. You do wave your arms a little bit. But I like you, and I am still promoting and loyal. And if you want me to do something, promote something, I'll do it. But guys, and by the way, those guys who left, I know you've banned them. If they decide to go back to you, I have no problem with that. Like I have no issue with that.
Well, I just don't. So you must know, like this is a absolute cunt of a move by you to just come in, sweep in, and steal the network. No, you say that, but your actions tell a different story.
It's my network.
You've divided the Minifans, and
actually, they seem pretty. They seem pretty unanimous. If we're being honest, they seem pretty unanimous. But
because they've gone with the big star on Barstool rather than me. Of course, that was.
I will say this: if you want to blame anybody, I would blame the Axe. I think that you should probably get rid of her. And I think there's something about a woman.
Too far.
I know she's too old, obviously, to get her period now, but I wonder if, like, once a month, if that's a factor. Like, there's obviously issues with the Axe and with Hugh Jackman.
The issues are with you. The only issues in the network were driven by you, undermining the leadership, listening to the little gossip.
Who did you once call?
If you just stayed out of it, the network would be thriving. It would be
the Kirk Minihane network on YouTube has never been stronger.
Well, Kirk Minihane show network has never been stronger. That's
and I will say this also
because you stole ours. You stole.
I'll also say
all
this,
our hard work.
I'll keep going back to like you have. I have ability to look inward. With years and years of therapy, you don't. People left you, and all you're saying is, "Oh, it's because Kirk's bigger than me. He's more popular."
He is.
I think that's a factor.
If I was doing the show, I would go to the channel with 20,000 plus subscribers.
What's what I mean? We're not like friggin' like friggin' Jake Paul or something.
No, you probably got the least amount of followers of any account in Barstool, but that doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. But guess what? I make more money. A lot of people have more followers, so I don't really care. What's the criticism of the show itself been tonight? I haven't got the chance to listen yet.
Yes, you brought up Clemmer before.
Well, Clemmer, I think we all agree on Clemmer. But I want to bring up Montante's point about, and I want to say it more concisely than he did. So
the coincidence?
About the coincidence. So for me, you're a fellow true crime enthusiast. As you know, premeditation, right? Doesn't have to be days or weeks. It can be moments. It can be me looking. It can be me looking at a gun on the table, deciding to pick it up and do it. That's premeditation.
Sure.
I don't think that stream happens if Clemmer isn't also doing a stream.
Yeah,
I think that's planned it.
No. Didn't plan anything. But I think that's possible. Like I think it's possible in the moment, but I didn't go in there that day saying we're going to do a stream with Coleman about Jim.
No,
like,
agreed.
What's that matters?
Well, like that petty side of you came out, and the same pettiness that stole the network.
This is what I mean. You can't have a conversation with the guy.
Why? Because I hold a grudge. I'm like you. I hold a grudge. I'm angry. I'm angry at you.
I'm less mad at Kirk than I am at the people who jumped ship. They didn't say thank you to Joe. People like Robbie V, who
Joe is great. I'm kidding about Joe. She's a very nice person.
People like BA, right, who kind of went from being a show hater, kind of rehabbed his image on this network so he could get back in the clout game. He kind of went down the dark path. Now he's coming to the light. For him to stab Joe in the back, I think is wrong. I think it's a red flag. I think you have a bunch of fair weather people who join that network, and I just hope they don't do something stupid. I don't want it to get taken away. I don't know what that means for the old shows that are uploaded on there. Would they all have to get re-uploaded on a different network? It would just be.
But it would be a
disaster.
But you guys understand that if those same guys return, then you can't trust them either. All of a sudden, you can't celebrate them coming back because then, by your theory, they're still they're stabbing us in the back. Then you can't trust them, right?
Well, Menners will take anybody back at this point.
No. I said before. So was that true that Robbie V's not allowed to do a gambling show?
Not necessarily, but I talked to Portnoy amazingly about Robbie V yesterday. I couldn't believe this. I took a phone call and I was like, he's like, the way Massachusetts with DraftKings things change all the time. So he's like, from a language perspective, we need to figure that out. Now a lesser, more insecure CEO, not that I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO, whatever I am, would immediately throw Robbie V under the bus, call him retarded like Menners has over the years. I had his back and said, Dave, if Robbie V goes, I go.
Yep.
And Dave said, Kirk, I understand that. I'm not letting you go. You mean too much to us, despite your low YouTube viewers. You mean too much to us. So Robbie V will stay, and I suspect Robbie V will probably be in New York. And you're right, Metters. Do all these people all dream of being in New York? Of course, but like, so what? I don't. That's okay. I don't know why that's a bad thing necessarily.
No, but some of us are just here. Some of us here to do fan content and have
absolutely,
a good time.
And I appreciate that too.
You have a duty to tell Portnoy about Robbie V's lock of the week. I think it's like 62% or something. So Robbie V very well may end up in New York.
Problem is you can't say lock of the week. That's the issue. The Dan Katz, whatever that was, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
So you can't do that. So I think that's part of it too. But yeah, no, Robbie V is gonna be part of the network. The 420 guys will be part of the network.
Yeah, congratulations. Wow.
Well, again, these are but this is what I'm saying. Now you're dumping. This is why these guys. So to get to the grudge point I was gonna make, you said you hold a grudge.
Against you.
I was visiting colleges with Kate, and I was going for a run that night when I heard you talk about how we should talk about your network 40% of the time on our show. Right there, I said, I'm ending this guy. Literally, I said it.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of it.
22 minutes into my run, I looked at my phone and I said, I think it's time to knock this guy down a peg.
Well, I'm glad that that little joke triggered that response.
Oh, no question.
You took that so seriously. But with Robbie V, I'm not going to, everyone's welcome back. I'm not going to hold grudges. I mean, BA, there's a few people that will take back.
So nobody, you wouldn't ban anybody for life. Nobody.
I don't think so.
No, well, I respect that. And by the way, I feel the same way. If they want to go, great. They want to come back, great. If Menners wants to come over and do something while he runs the network, by the way, I thought it'd be a good show if Menners maybe was a sort of consulted Coleman and Justin how to run the YouTube channel. I would be fine with that. If you'd be interested in that, Menners, I think it'd be useful for them. If you're not, I understand that.
I'm to all offers.
I did pitch a show to Mutt, and he was responding to me, and then he big timed me and stopped responding. So
Mutt is the perfect talent for that, for your perfect AAA talent.
We're looking to rebuild behind Mutt, and he's not seeing the vision. So back to the
bring him back
board.
like the ladies over there.
Oh, no? Menners would love that.
Right, so I'm saying, Menners, you're a perv. Why not do that?
Maybe.
God, Menners is so upset, Dave. I don't even know what to do. I like the guy. Like, what are you doing? Relax. Fucking relax. Relax.
Listen. Have your fun messing with Menners, but please just don't forget that Joe. You know, every time you hit Menners, you're hitting Joe too. So, and you shouldn't.
Where do you put? Do you put Joe ahead of Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, other women in history who have been through? Like, would you put her above those people, or right there? Or where would you put her, Menners?
I think they're in the same boat. I sort of think. I mean, I sort of liken myself to some of those great leaders of the American community that have, brought about great change.
Who you got?
I'm like the Malcolm X of the Minifan community. I started a war last year to bring back Minifan content. You didn't care about it, and I clearly won the war because now Minifan content has taken over your channel. So, despite being, mortally hurt, upset, it's a big boost. I built something that was so good that you took it away. So,
I thought Montante was going to get on his knees and give Ryan Whitney a blowjob today. Like he was like smiling and like drooling and laughing. It was like, oh my God, relax, Montante, fucking relax.
Didn't sound too good, Montante. I think the producers have got to check the mic levels and stuff. Montante sounded like he was like 3 meters from the
he
mic.
He wouldn't go near the mic. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how any of that works. I saw you tweet it was a what else day yesterday. That's true. Today I was in a better mood. I think it's part because I'm sick, but also like today, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the show, Coleman is bringing up like George Stephanopoulos. I'm like, what do we need to move past it. I will say this right now. If Menners moves to the United States of America, he can have a job as a producer of the Kirk Minihane Show.
Wow, you were just saying you have more free time, Menners. Now that your daughter lives in the States now? Yeah.
Oh, where she lives?
She's moved to London for 6 months.
Oh, great.
She's a bit older than Kate. So as I said to Vida, I've lost my daughter. My cafe's gone. The cricket season's over, and now you've just taken away the network that I was going to focus on. But
what about the Mayo? But you get the Mayo podcast still.
Yeah, I know, but no, that's a great show. I'll keep focused. I guess I'll be putting more attention into that now. way more attention. We did bring up. Yes,
would you bring up? I'm sorry.
We did bring up Justin before. VD had a point that Justin's been awfully weird this week, and
I agree.
You know, it started on the weekend, and you know, sort of had concerns about his mental health, and I said this is kind of actually reverting to the norm. Like this is how he is. You kind of wear him down.
Yeah, I actually think Justin will be gone by Labor Day. I think I said that today. I can see the end in his eyes a little bit. So, you know, if he doesn't feel comfortable doing this stuff, like I'm fine with that. I don't want him to do something he doesn't want to do. Coleman's going to be tougher to break and get rid of, but that will happen.
Oh yeah.
We'll have two different producers a year from now. Menders might be one of them.
What's that place at the end, the tip? Is it Providence, the little gay town in Mass? Is that
Provincetown?
What's that little town?
Provincetown.
Provincetown. Just take him there for a weekend. Honestly, you'll never see him again. Just send him there. Go and film something for me, and then he'll be gone. He'll never come back. Yeah,
he's had like Portland related. He's had like horrific content ideas, like the kind that like wake you up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh my God, like this is not the same." Like this guy works on the show, so I'm concerned about that. But yeah, but Menners, you've done great things. You are like Malcolm X. And Joe is like Betty Shabazz, whatever his wife's name was. And Visionless Dave's a great. What's your title, Dave, on this network?
Senior Vice President, but I might change that because I don't like Scott Van Pelt, SVP. So I'm Executive Vice President.
I respect it. I would like. I am open to having, if you'd let me, have some sort of show on this network, sort of a semi-regular show. If you're open to that, myself.
Yeah, we'll consider it for sure.
That's all I can ask.
Definitely.
You got to make things right with Joe first.
What is wrong with? Is she up there? Put her up.
I think she had to go. I think she's gone.
Is she legitimately upset?
She's got 8 kids. She's in.
She's not upset at you. She's upset at the people that didn't say that left with no warning. She's got to get over it. She's got to get over it.
But she works really hard. She worked really hard on Mike and the Minifans, and that was just poached with no notice. No, like, hey Joe, do you want to come across and run Mike and the Minifans?
She wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have put her in that position. Well, she wouldn't have done that to you. And I have to admit, I was surprised you didn't put up a Mike and the Minifans against us. I figured that was just going to happen.
No, because I don't want to divide the Minifans. I want them to be happy.
You don't want. This is what I'm saying. Like, be honest. Like, Jesus Christ.
But it's also very difficult to get a panel together, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the new executive producers go with that.
Yeah, week 6 when it's a guy who drinks the water all the time and friggin' whoever Coleman. It's going to be a tough. That's going to be a tough scene. I agree. You did a great job. Now, but I do think there should be some level, whether it's 2%. 12%. Do you have to say why are these people leaving? Other than the fact that they're. I'm just saying, like, I get your point.
Okay, but you might understand this. Actually, you do understand this. We're both in the same position here. We're both extremely talented on air, and we're also both leaders of the organization.
Sure.
So sometimes those things conflict. You might say something on air that someone like Steve from Gloucester takes too seriously, and that bleeds into the real leadership stuff. And maybe I'll have to look at the way you do it in future and learn how to mix, being an on-air titan and being a real leader. Because Erica found it difficult.
I think one thing you always criticize my ability to lead in the past, but it seems like, people are following me now. And that seems like I'm a benevolent leader when I get what I want. So we'll see.
We will see. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, anybody watching from the new network who feels uncomfortable with us and wants to jump back to Menners, totally fine. I get it. I respect that completely.
And how do you think the new network is going? Like, are you happy with John from Scranton? Are you glad they're updating the bracket on your network?
Yep. I was hoping we'd get some bracket stuff on. Yep. I care about that bracket greatly, as you know.
I'm going to go back to back, I think.
Is that right?
And what about when you see? What about when you see the Kirk Minihane show logo?
I don't care. I don't.
Jackson and Steve.
I don't know it. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I have no idea. I saw you tweet that. I don't know what it means. I don't care about stuff.
Well, just people using your name for their own clout. That's all.
I know you would never do that, but yeah, others have.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't.
Wouldn't.
I know.
I've even changed the name of the network because I didn't want any clout. So
Right.
Listen, we were making progress. We agreed in principle to a new show on this network. Let's end it there on a good note.
Okay.
Let's end it there on a good note.
I just don't want Menders to become like not even Sneakers, because Sneakers love the show. Who was the other guy with Sneakers? The other guy.
High Blind Mike.
Yeah, but there's another guy too. He left.
Oh,
for
Yellow
a while.
Shirt guy.
Yeah, like all the guys who Visualist Dave is like follows and friends with. Like all these guys who
first of all, I follow 5,000 people on Twitter. If you're ever in my mentions, I just click follow because I never want my timeline to be empty. I want it to be always full. So
I don't want Menders to be. I don't want Menders to be one of those professional haters. I'd be disappointed because I like Menders. But listen,
no, I've just got a grudge.
Oh,
very
Fez.
sour.
You're talking about Fez.
I'm a little bitter and twisted. A little angry. Yeah, just normal stuff that I need to work through. You know, it's going to cost me, hundreds of dollars in therapy, but I'll get there. I try to explain to them about this fake job that I've lost, and tie it to my daughter leaving and selling a business. Anyway, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun.
Did you make a lot of money on the
absolutely
selling the business?
Made some money, not as much as I would have liked, but it's done now. I'm free to run this ghost ship of a network now. So
let's focus on our similarities. You both run great networks. You both have daughters moving away soon. Maybe you guys can be a bit of a support group for each other. And
I consider Menders. I like Menders. Menders hates me. I like Menders. It's not like I'm doing this purposely because I won the war and I'm being like a nice guy just to be an asshole. I don't want anybody to think that.
Not at all. No, you wouldn't do that.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I like Menders. And do you guys have any new shows you announced other than this thing we talked about? Anything in the pipeline?
Well, you poached my co-host, Little People Big World guy. You poached him directly from my show.
But he can work with you on your show.
We'll get it together. We're gonna get that back and going. The fun down, not the rundown. It'll be the fun down.
I like that.
And we are holding. There's some offers out to people. Lots going on.
Yeah. The rundown is as you know, every Saturday morning. Terrific show. I know you guys love those guys. So
the best.
Sheldon.
We've actually got a new show that'll be a surprise for you. So I'm going to keep quiet about that one, but that's been given the green light, so that'll start soon. And now basically I just message Coleman and Justin and I say, what are your rejected shows for the Kirk Minihane Show network? Because can you send them my way now? Because
we're accepting the 420 show, so clearly we're not.
I've sort of sift through the trash to see if there's anything that you might have missed.
See, you're lightening up a little bit, Menners. I like this. You're lightening. This is a good thing. All right.
I would encourage all the Menor fans, go check out Kirk. He goes live a few times a week on YouTube. He does a show for Barstool.
Steve Robinson tomorrow morning.
Stevie Robinson back in the studio. I can't wait for that.
He probably hasn't listened. He probably hasn't listened or seen my show, and
he has no idea what's going on.
Year, I would say, knows nothing. Not a single thing.
Falls deep in a Chinese weed scandal. There's no time for playing around.
Well, boys, as always,
he will certainly. Thank you. I know this is past your bedtime, Kurt.
It certainly is. Goodbye.
Thank you. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. That was Kirk Minihane from the Kirk Minihane Show Network channel. You want to wrap this up, VD?
We'll do a quick after show. I do think we need a comment guy if we are going to do this show. I think fan engagement is a pivotal part to the Menors Minifan network identity. So if you feel like you could be a good comment guy, maybe apply privately with Joe, give her maybe a resume, history of what you've done, pass the background check, and you can be entered into consideration. If you have any new shows, same thing, reach out to Joe and Menors. They'll get you all set up. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Menors.
I've actually had quite a few people reach out with private messages of support, which I really appreciate. Lots of people that want to join the network. The Axe has confirmed that the ladies are on board.
Wow.
So there'll be a Mina Lady show on this network. So, yeah.
We've just received Tommy Shattuck's support in the chat. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will be a big night for the Minors network. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, Kirk is right that, I've taken this pretty hard, and I just think I'm one of those guys that, I put my heart and soul into this network, and that's not going to change, whether it's one show, 10 shows, I'm not even going to look across the street. Don't care what they're doing. Yeah, we've never been stronger.
Never been stronger. All right. Any last words?
No, VD. Thank you very much for hosting this show tonight. Thank you to the Axe. Thank you to Kirk Minihane for destroying this network and then coming on to gloat about it. And thanks for everyone watching.
Let's make the network great again.
Hello, everyone.
We're back on road.